Welcome to episode number 9 of Tapped In with Tony. Tonight's guest is a Northeast Ohio creative genius. He's around the basketball scene, even around the sports scene. Chris the Creatorr joins us today. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, y'all? Tapped in with Tony.
Not much, man. Just covering high school sports and stuff like that. Postseason's on the horizon, especially with your squad, Lutheran West.
Yes, sir. You know, my boys, the Wild West.
And all right, tell me about your how you got started with doing video creative stuff. Tell us about you.
All right, so I was 10 years old, and like every 10-year-old, I wanted to be a content. No, I'm just playing. When I was 10, I was always such a creative kid, growing up. I always would come up with these stupid clubs. I'd make a new club every single day, like the Lego club or just something stupid. I have no idea. I'd make some new ideas every day. Well, eventually when I started watching movies all the time, and I would watch this movie Space Jam so much, before I went to sleep every night, the movie Space Jam was on. And I was like, man, I want to make a video. I want to make videos. And I would watch YouTube all the time. So movies and watching YouTube, that interest kind of grew. And I just started making my own off my phone at that age, I had an editing app, which I've been using for since I was 10. So I'd honestly say like 8 years, I think. It's called InShot.
Wow, that's incredible.
I'm really good at using this app. And I just would upload these videos. I'd have my family record them, and they're still out there. I won't let anyone find them, but maybe in the future, they're still out there. Just videos of me when I was younger, just doing anything. But little did I know, that love of content creation, it never left, as I got older.
Gotcha. And who would you say are your biggest influences as far as content creation goes?
Number one would maybe, there's so many. I definitely say like right now, Devin the Lab. So in a lot of people who haven't heard of him, he started off making documentaries, a big series called 10,000 Hours. And the idea of it is like, if you can master 10,000 hours at your craft, then you'll become like a master of what you do, if you give it 10,000 hours. So he would record these basketball players just training and make it into a documentary series. It was the dopest thing ever, though. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, he would narrate, good music, just the way he made basketball look to me. It helped me fall in love with videos and basketball at the same time. I used to watch his videos like every single day. There's another content creator by the name of Nick in the Cut. He's pretty big out there, and I watch a lot of his documentaries. I'm pretty big on not trying to copy, other creators, but I definitely pick up on inspiration from a lot of them. There's a ton more. Like, if I want to go deeper into it, I love Spike Lee's work. I love the work of Michael Bay, the directors. I study the game pretty well, I think.
Gotcha. And it definitely shows because your stuff is better than a lot of the stuff around people my age. And I've only been in this around, let's say, a year and a half. And you've been doing this since you're 10 and you're like a veteran at it.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Next question. I understand you also played basketball for a little bit and then you start to continue on with your creative career.
Yeah, I did. I played basketball from probably like the time I was like 5 years old, and then I stopped playing at sophomore year. Kind of when I was getting into this camera stuff. I bought my first camera. It was a Canon T7. Bought that the summer of my sophomore year, going into my junior year, and I was dealing with injuries and just I wasn't really feeling the game that year that much. So during the games, I'd record off my phone. And some of my teammates, they started calling me like Courtside Chris, where this name came from. And going into my junior year, with this camera, I was like, well, why not give it a try? I'm one of those people, like, if I want to go in with something, I'm going all in. So I wasn't going to like play basketball and record my game at the same time. It just didn't add up to me. I wanted to be there during the varsity games, with my camera, going to all the best games. I literally envisioned that. So I just quit. I stopped playing.
Gotcha. And I know you've also, in a way, covered Lutheran West. You've also covered a couple Glendale players. Talk to me about the documentary. I interviewed Savante Quarles, the from Dreams to Reality, a few months ago.
Oh,
Talk to me about
really?
how that went. Yes.
Man, so that was my first, really, I mean, my first big time documentary. I had a couple before, can't forget Marcus Whitmore and Tommy DeJesus. Those are like my first two documentaries I made. Uh, but the third one was Savante Corals, and this was the one I put the most work into at the time. I actually traveled, I did all the things I wanted to do for a documentary. Um, and so let's see. I mean, I think did he reach out to me or did I reach out to him? I think it was after they had won the Senate championship. I think I was seeing him and I'm seeing his name. And I kind of talked to him about doing a documentary beforehand because people wanted to see it. They were reaching out to me like, hey, we want to see a documentary on Savante and Corals. Because at the time, I was like the only one doing documentaries. So people, I would ask, like, who do y'all want to see one on? And the name that kept coming up was Vontae. And during the playoffs, a little too late, I went to go record them, for a playoff game, and I was like, man, this guy's the real deal. I love this Glenville team. I reached out to him, and I met him at I believe it was district championship game.
Ken District or
Yeah,
Ken Regional.
yeah, I think we were both there.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the first time of me filming Vontae, like for the documentary. So I stayed with him throughout that really entire day, and they ended up losing. So it's like, dang, I'm filming my documentary. I just started, and like now what do I do? The season's over. But I ended up turning it into something else because after they lost that game, he obviously played his heart out. So it was great content. I went to school with him the following week, and I would miss school to go film stuff like this. Literally, yeah, I'd miss school to go film. I've done it a couple times, and I'm glad my mom gives me opportunities like that. My family has supported me a lot with just my dreams and everything. But yeah, I was there, and the school showed me a lot of love. Vontae was always supporting me, and I just knew that I wanted to tell his story. And yeah, episode 1 came out, and then shortly after, I ended up traveling with him to Indiana for episode 2 for an AAU tournament. I mean, I just, I was super grateful I've got to meet Vontae and tell his story. I'm super grateful I've got to meet everyone that I've told their stories. All my documentaries, each person I've done one on, I had built a special relationship with them.
Gotcha. And I had heard that you went to LA for the first time a few months ago. How was that trip? I saw your stuff from the LA documentary.
I went to LA in May 2022. That was something, man. I mean, I'm not gonna say I never expected it because the same year I was saying like this will be the first year I go to LA. Like I was already talking about it. I knew it was gonna happen. I just didn't know that soon in my life. Uh, yeah, I was at a gym. This guy by the name of Michi Terry, who's pretty big from around here. He's bald, so he's not that hard to recognize. And
That's
he's famous
graduate.
for locking up LaMelo Ball. I'm at the gym, and of course I knew who he was. And I was filming for my boy Keyshawn Hall, who's also pretty big, who comes from here. And I end up seeing Michi. He's there. He literally just asked me, like, so quick. He's just like, "Do you want to go to LA with me?" That's it. He just said, "Hey, you come here, come here. You want to go to LA for a week?" And I said, "Of course." Like, what do you mean? Do I? I'm like, "Of course." I was so shocked that he asked me that. Like, that was the first thing he said after he explained what we'd be doing there and everything. And I just said, yes, yes, yes. Like, how do I get on board for this? A month later, we were going. He locked me in. I'm just super grateful that he just happened to be looking for a cameraman. I guess he had seen some of my work too. And he was like, yeah, like, let's do it. He trusted me. Even though I wasn't as good as I am now, he still trusted me. And he even told me, like, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to show you, what you can do. That was, a blessing from God right there. Like, I literally went to LA at 17 years old, got to hang out with big content creators, just kind of live it up for a week.
Wow. I bet that had to be really awesome, especially given
Yeah.
the weather around the state of Ohio. I remember a couple weeks prior, I don't know when you went to LA, but I remember I was covering a game in Hudson and it was hailing and just cold.
Oh, yeah. The weather sucks here, man. I'm not even going to lie. But going out there, whoo, man, that weather is something else. It is beautiful out there, man. And then when you come back, when you first come back, you're just like, oh boy. Yeah, that's definitely how it is when you're coming back.
No doubt, man. And
But at the same time, I love my city.
oh, gotcha. And to continue on, you are now Chris the Creatorr. What led you to moving away from Courtside Chris, Chris the
Hmm.
Creatorr?
I was just kind of looking to grow and expand. My good friend Lamar is always telling me, never stay in one place. Like keep growing, don't look back, basically. So I started thinking like Courtside Chris. Everyone's always calling me everywhere I go, but it just I feel like it kind of dictates me to just one thing. Honestly, I'm on the court, and it's great. Don't get me wrong; it was a great name. I'm so happy that it caught on so well with everyone. But I know that I want to do way more than just make basketball videos and films. And I love the game. Don't get me wrong, but I love telling stories, and I just want to go everywhere with this camera. I don't want to just stay on the court. Uh, and it took me a while. I had actually thought about it for weeks before I changed it. I kept thinking about different names, but I never was bold enough to do it because I was like, dang it, Courtside Chris is too good to just change it out for something regular. Eventually, I came up with Chris the Creatorr, and I was just like, I'm a content creator. Chris kind of goes smooth. I literally just put it together in like 20 seconds. I had no idea what I was doing, but I said it sounded nice. I wanted to get rid of it, so I made the decision. I put two R's on my name, stand out a little bit, uh, and yeah, that was that. I just stuck with it, and I've been sticking with it. I had so many people tell me to go back to the name, but I stuck with it because I know that I don't want to be just that guy, that one trick pony, that Courtside Chris. Like eventually, basketball is going to get old to me, you know. And I'm always going to love the sport, but just making it feels like you're going to make the same content over and over and over. I see a lot of creators now just you can go make mixtapes, but eventually you're just going to start making the same mixtape with a different player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that content doesn't really mean anything in the long run. My documentaries are going to mean something, at least to me and the people I made them for in the long run. Like 20 years, I'll look back at this stuff and I'm just going to be like, man, I already do look back at my work and I'm just like, wow, I miss those times. I'm not going to look back at a mixtape that I made from last year and go like, oh, I missed that. I missed that game. Like I don't know. It's not the same for me.
gotcha. And I wanted to ask you about that as well. I know you got to shoot some highlights for Bronny James when he
Yeah.
was in Akron over the summer. And
Yeah.
tell me about the Columbus trip. You guys were down Columbus at the Columbus Play-by-Play Classic where there were a lot of creators down there. Tell me about how that went, especially being there the entire day.
Yeah, that was a great experience, honestly. I'm trying to think how did I get in there. So my good friend Brandon Borrow from Ganley Nissan actually hooked us up with the media passes. Lamar, Sky High Sports, drove me and my boy, wrong, TG Media. We drove all the way out there together. He drove us. We woke up at what 5:30 in the morning. I left at 6 to go to Lamar's house. I mean, we were on the grind for this one, like literally. Crazy thing is a lot of people don't know I'm a forgetful person. So like, I forgot my camera at the house. So
Oh,
we had to. Luckily, we didn't drive too far off. So Tommy's like, man, Chris, what are you doing? He's always on my head, but he's like my big brother. So we drive back to the house to get my camera. And then we go to Lamar's house, thinking we're about to be all late and everything. But it turns out, and it was snowing too. Turns out we made it on time. The trip over was pretty good. And then the day, it's just an unforgettable day, like there was a lot of basketball, great basketball. Obviously you have Bronny there, but you had some Cleveland teams, Marcus Johnson, Shamarion Hardy, from Cleveland, two top players. And they did pretty good out there. I'm always trying to put on for the city, so I was happy to record them. The environment was pretty good. There was just a lot of people there to watch, and especially to watch Bronny. Even Gabe Cups and the what is it?
Centerville.
Yeah, Centerville game. That was a pretty packed one right after Bronny had played. And yeah, Bronny didn't really do all that, to be honest. It wasn't his best performance. Sierra Cannon lost to Akron, and I was super happy that Ohio beat them. You know. just because I got to put on for my state and my city. So I was just happy to be there. There was a lot of creators. I'm always introducing myself to other creators whenever I can. So I got to meet some new people. I met some not new people, the cameraman from LA, the Sierra Canyons basketball team. I remember I was sitting there recording the game, and this guy just comes up to me, and he's all like, move. He comes up to me in Next Gen, and he's like, move. He doesn't even say, excuse me. He's like, I'm filming a documentary for Amazon. In that moment, I'm kind of thinking like, dang, I'd love to tell this guy, like, who do you think you are? But I have gotten a lot better at just like trying to respond to negative situations with positivity. So I kind of just said, I'm like, hey, next time say excuse me, like maybe we'll accept you. We'll accept you as one of us. I don't know. I believe that we should all treat other content creators, especially content creators, should all treat each other the same with the same respect. We all got the same, not same dream out here, but we got the same passion. So
Oh,
I try to be just good to every content creator I meet. It was dope also because I got recognized by some people there in the crowd. I had people just like saying like, yo, like courtside. And I'm like, oh man, like what's up, man? How you guys doing? Uh, that stuff is, I can't explain the feeling. So it was a great day. We stayed there from, I believe, 10 in the morning when we arrived to, we left at 11 at night, didn't get home till 1. I've had days like that in the past. We were just grinding all day, but it worked. It pays off, and I love to do it, so I can't complain.
what would you say is honestly your favorite part about it? Because I know you were also there for the play-by-play classic at John Carroll last month.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my favorite part about the play-by-play classics and the tournaments and everything, like I said, it's really just the beauty of the content creation and the creators. Like at all these events, there's so many other creators and just getting along with them. And, I have so many conversations with guys, and it's just like, sometimes you really get into it. Like, why are we doing this? For what reason? And it's just really interesting to hear from other creators. I love to meet people. And, how I got the name Chris the Creatorr. I love using the term like, look at all my creators out here. I'm going to put it on a shirt or something, the creators, because that's what we are.
Yeah.
We're more than just a guy holding a camera, or a girl.
Yep. And I heard you also were at the Bulls Cavs game. Tell me how that came along. Tell the audience how that came along.
History, Donovan Mitchell, 71 points. Yeah, it was pretty unexpected. January 2nd, or actually a couple days before that, I got a text message from my guy DP. He's a Cavs shooter, and he's also just made youth pastor. So congrats to him. He reached out to me and Lamar about doing a job for Andre Drummond. Uh, and Andre Drummond had basically, saw this story of these two young kids. One kid bought his friend a pair of shoes, and he didn't expect anything of it. The kid, was kind of getting picked on, so he bought his friend a pair of shoes. Nothing was supposed to happen, but the teacher posted a picture of it, and it went viral. Then it turns into a news story. Then Andre Drummond sees it. Then he wants to, reach out to the kids. He talks to them. I think he sent them some stuff, but he also sent them some tickets, to a Cavs game. So he has them come out here all the way from Buffalo, New York to Cleveland, and he wants somebody to kind of tell the story. Bam, me and Lamar, of all people, come into play. It's crazy how this worked out. Like that me and Lamar even landed something like this. His manager reached out to me, and then I was on the job. And then I asked if Lamar could come along with me because actually they kind of just reached out to me at first because Lamar didn't respond in time, I guess. So it was just going to be me. And I'm like, man, this is great, but it's a lot by myself. So I would love to have Lamar here with me. They said yes. Lamar didn't want any compensation. What a good dude he is. He just came along, and he did his thing as well as me. We did a great video for the family, sent it to them. Andre Drummond loved it. And then on top of that, we got to see one of the greatest NBA games ever. Can't complain. So, and the content was beautiful.
Nice, nice. And you guys did a really great job of it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Lots
My
are really good.
my role, I think, was more than just being a content creator that day. I just wanted to leave a good impact on those kids. I wanted to be a good role model for them. They're coming all the way out here from Buffalo to Cleveland. And yeah, they did such a great thing. They went so viral, but they're still kids. I wanted to just leave a good impression on them. I was more nervous about that than meeting Andre Drummond or being on the NBA court. Like I was more nervous about making a good impression on those kids. And I did from the start. I made sure I introduced myself to them. I was talking to them, laughing with them, sat by the family, and I got to know them. And it's just an experience I will never forget in my entire life.
Awesome. And what is it that keeps you going? Sometimes things will get tough, and sometimes every creator hits some sort of creative block or something where it's like,
Mhm.
oh man, I don't know what to
Yep.
do. I don't know what to write about, or I don't know what to film about this. What keeps you going? What keeps
Yeah,
you positive?
I've definitely had my experiences with creative blocks and times where I was just frustrated and down. But I mean, what keeps me going, I just think I got a different type of hunger. I haven't met a lot of people with the same hunger as me for this. I don't say that to be cocky. I just haven't. I'm I want this. This is the life that I want, but I also love this. I could edit for hours and I don't complain sometimes. It's just what I love to do. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like that, but in my area I haven't come across one person that is like so hungry. Maybe besides Lamar and Rock University. Um, I'm doing anything I can to make content. Like this is my life. Every single day, this is all I do. It's all I think about. I mean, and sometimes when things go wrong, like I've had days where I cried about it. I know if I can cry about it, like that I really care about it. Uh, so like I said, this is just my life. It's what I want to be my life, and that's just what keeps me going. When stuff gets bad, I start thinking like, where do I want to be? The main thing I ask myself is like, who do I want to be, but who do I not want to be? You know, and who I want to be is just 10 times more important to me than ending up somebody I don't want to be.
It's a fact, and the fact that you cry about it shows how passionate you are. Shows how you
Man,
have your
I've
emotions
had
too.
real tears. You can ask Tommy himself. He's been close to me, and like I've had real tears, like over this work. It's all I care about, man.
Wow.
I love my family, I love God, but this is it right here for me.
Wow. And you're at 18 doing a lot of stuff that I myself, I didn't really get into this till I was 28, 29 years old. And I gotta say, honestly, from one creator to another, you inspire me in a way. If I'm not really honest,
I
you inspire
appreciate that
me,
so
man,
much.
because you're out, you guys are honestly some really hungry dudes, and you guys are out there putting in the work. And
Mm,
I really gotta give you props for that, man. You guys
man,
are out there putting that
that,
work.
that means a lot, Tony. I don't know if you know this. I actually took this from you too. Just watching how you don't care, man. I'm not trying to say you don't care, but like when I see you at a game, you're going up to everyone, telling them, like, "I'm Tony, man. Shoot for Keon Sports. I do this, I do that." And when me and Lamar talked about that one time, I'm just like, dude, I gotta get like that. Like I can't be afraid to go introduce myself to somebody who's holding the camera just like me. I gotta go talk to people. I gotta go up to the student sections. Like seeing you do that also made me want to. So I just appreciate you for that as well.
Oh, not a problem. Sometimes you just gotta put yourself out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely took after that. Being in LA, being around those big time content creators, I made sure I asked as many questions as possible. Even though Michi was a little annoyed with me doing that, I didn't care. And they gave me great conversations. I met some big photographers, some that worked for the NBA. I hung out with big YouTubers that had millions of subscribers, just like I want to have. And I made sure I asked the right questions, and they just told me, like, number one, you got to stay hungry, you got to stay consistent, and you can't be afraid to like get in front of that camera. You got to put yourself out there, so and just be yourself, but to a certain extent.
Yes. You gotta bet on yourself. And honestly, the naysayers will say what they will say. You just can't let it get to you. Just
Yes,
gotta
sir.
focus on number one.
Yes, sir.
And I understand you have a brother that plays basketball as well.
Yeah, he had just came home like during the podcast, so I just told him, I said, "Be quiet." Uh, yeah, my little brother, his name's Caden Hill. He goes to Rose right now. He's a freshman. He's pretty good. I won't lie to you. Give him a few years, and not even a few. Probably in the next year, you'll be hearing about him a lot. He works hard, you know.
Yep. And I've seen some of your docs on Kenyon Giles of Rhodes, and that team's doing really good this year. Talk to me about
Yeah.
that
Oh, they
document.
just beat Walsh too last
Oh,
night.
really?
Yeah,
And
they
Walsh
just beat
beat
on Walsh.
CVCA.
Yeah, and they beat Ignatius too, and they
Wow.
beat St. Vincent St. Mary. So
Yep, and
yeah.
Rhodes beat Gilmore too, and as
Mm-hmm.
did Nate. It's just
I
there's
mean,
a lot of parity in high school basketball this
it's
year.
crazy. I mean, Kenyon, you know, Ken is that's like my other brother right there. Tommy and him, we have a great relationship. Me, Tommy, and Ken, and my boy Keith. But you know, Ken is just he's different. Like anyone I've worked with, Ken is the most different one I've ever worked with, and that's why I've stuck around him this entire season. And before that, like I said, I haven't met anybody that works as hard as him, thinks like him. I mean, I'm not trying to knock anyone that I've worked with and filmed with, but this kid lives, eats, sleeps, and lives basketball, literally. And it's just even the way he is on the court. Like on the court, he's talking like a dang coach. He won't shut up. It's annoying. He won't shut up. I mean, even when the JV team and the freshman team is playing, you can hear this guy yap 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 yap, and he's talking to the JV and freshman players like he's the coach. I mean, he studies the game so well. Even Lamar and Rock University, they've told me both that you can have a very intelligent basketball conversation with that kid, and you can. We've had a lot of good conversations. And you know, just off the court, he gets good grades. You know what I mean? He's just like somebody, you know, a good role model. I can't complain. He doesn't get into parties. He doesn't do any drugs. None of that type of stuff. He's just focused on basketball. And man, seeing that, it's just really inspiring to me sometimes. You know, and he's younger than me, so you know, just having him around made me want to work harder. Actually, you know, when I kept him around, I just told him like, yeah. So me, Tommy, and Ken, we all push each other. You know, me and Tommy are content creators. Ken's a basketball player, but we just push each other to be better.
Yeah,
And
and that's
seeing him win that Senate championship was everything to me, by the way.
yep. And the Rose winner first since 2009, and it was a pretty good atmosphere for them.
Oh yeah, man, they were on the court, man. They loved it. I love the video I made for them. It was just beautiful, honestly. It was a great thing to see.
Awesome, awesome. And what are your future goals? Because what's your future down the line? Like once you graduate high school, and what do you
Uh,
want to do? How
yeah.
far do you want to take this?
I mean, well, I'm 18 right now, so I can't speak too much on like my future in general, like if what's gonna happen. You know, like, I know a lot of stuff is gonna happen in my life. As far as the content creating, like I said, this is what I want, and I do plan on some pretty big things in my future. I guess I can start off by saying I want to be one of the best documentarians ever, slash filmmakers, slash content creator. You know, I just want to be one of the best to ever pick this up. You know. Literally, that's how I can sum all this up. I just not because I want to be better than other people, just because I just have a burning desire to be that. I guess if I could put it on one, you know, I have singular goals like attain 1 million subscribers, or I want to win an Oscar award. I want to do all these things, but I'm just now thinking about it. You know, to sum it up, like I said, I just want to be the best to ever pick this up, and I don't know. It just that's what keeps me, you know, going. So I think in my future, that's what I'll be doing. Just focused on my documentaries. Basketball is not going to be, you know, the basis of my content in of the future. You know, I'm going to start doing a lot of other big things, and you know, of course, I'll pop out to some games here and there, tell stories of people on the court here and there. But I just have a lot of bigger stuff planned in mind. I want to
Gotcha,
get into the filmmaking world.
gotcha. I'm gonna ask you three fun questions before we wrap up here. My first question for you is: if you could live in either Canada or Japan, which one countries would you live
um, if I could live in Canada, nah, it wouldn't be Canada. But like Japan is, oh, man, I want to go to Japan with my camera and Canada. Actually, I want to travel, but like I can't go to Canada. It's too cold.
in?
I don't know how cold Japan is, so I guess I'll say Japan. I'll say
Okay.
Japan. I heard it looks beautiful out there.
What's the most overrated food you've ever had?
What a beautiful question. Beautiful. I gotta think for like 2 seconds, man. The most
Take your time.
overrated food. Hot dogs. I don't
Hot.
eat pork. I don't eat pork anymore, but I used to eat hot dogs a lot. And it's just like, I don't know. They're just not that good.
Gotcha.
Overrated.
Gotcha. And this is third one's going to be a basketball relay question. Start one, bench one, cut one. Probably going to be hard.
Okay, let's go.
LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan.
Easy. Oh, I've been waiting on somebody to ask me this. I hope you post this, man. I need everyone to see this. I'm benching LeBron James. Yeah. Oh, wait, start bench, cut one?
Yes.
Okay. I'm cutting LeBron James. And let's see. I'm benching Kobe and I'm starting Mike. Simple.
Gotcha.
I would say I'm going to start Kobe, but I got to take Mike for that one.
Gotcha.
And I hope people see this clip right here. I'm cutting LeBron James.
Oh.
I'm cutting LeBron. I'm starting Mike, and I'm benching Kobe.
Gotcha. Hey, Chris. I've got a couple more questions for you. Where can people find your work at? Because you've got a lot of work out there, and you do a really great job of it.
Yep. So you can definitely find my work, and where more of my work will be for the next years to come, on YouTube at Christian James, or you can search up Chris The Creatorr, but I've changed my name on there to just my name, Christian James. On Instagram at Chris The Creatorr, you can find my work on there. I'm always posting just good content in general, you know what I mean? So yeah, those are the two primary places. I do have TikTok, and I'll be picking up more on there in the future. That's also Chris The Creatorr. You can search me up on all three platforms. I post great content on all three, but mainly YouTube. So,
and final question for you is, if you've got any final statements or any words of wisdom, the floor is yours if you want to share.
All right, I do have something, and I appreciate you for asking. The only words of wisdom I really have is just to, when times get bad, I know it's easy to want to quit. You have, all these thoughts may be going through your head. And my only advice is for when times get bad is to trust God. And that's really it. It's that simple. You can't just say you trust God when times are good. You can't just, lean on God when things are going great. It's when things get really bad and you're all messed up, or you lost something, or you took a loss. I mean, you never really take a loss. You just take learning experiences. But when you're hurt, man, trust God. Trust that God is going to make something good out of anything. I don't care what it is. And I've learned that in my life, and I'm already 18, but that's my main thing. When things get bad, I know it sucks, but you just got to trust God, trust that it's going to work out. And yeah, that's my advice right there.
It's amazing advice, Chris.
It will work out every time. Yep, appreciate you, Tony. Appreciate you for having me. Thank you for all your support, man. I really appreciate it.